Hello and welcome to DFS Coach Talk. I am Deb Lutz, also known as Deluxe, and today is Thursday, June 29th. Believe it or not, we are almost at that 4th of July weekend. Crazy. We are in full swing in the summer. The days are getting shorter again, but baseball's heating up. So I'm excited to be here. This is my second time doing a Thursday afternoon slate. I'm going to cover off on both the early slate, which will get posted up here shortly, as well as the evening slate. Or the main slate, I should say. So we got a lot to cover, and I'm running a little bit late. I got this new computer, and StreamYard is not connecting directly for me, so Crash and I'll have to figure a few things out afterwards. But he's hooked me up now. I'm in here. I see the chat going. We've got some folks here joining us. So thank you very much, Doug L. I think you've been such a great addition with all your baseball insight. Appreciate you. And Travis Wyndham has joined us. How's it going, Travis? Hope the DFS gods are treating you well. Anyway, so I am here in Chicago today, doing a little traveling myself. So hanging out in a friend's office, and they've got this nice backdrop. So hope you enjoy that. And I'm going to dive right in. So we've got 2 5-game slates basically on Draftkings and on Fanduel. First one, I think, is a 3-game slate, then followed by a 5-game slate. So lots of moving pieces going on. I'm not going to cover off on the games that are not included on either slate. So that would be the San Diego-Pittsburgh game, which is up first and not on any of the slates, and the Miami-Boston game, which I was pretty excited about. I think Brian Bello has really turned things on. I think he could have a really nice game, but not for us today. So kicking things off with Detroit at Texas. It's projected to be a 9.5 over/under, so pretty high scoring game. You got a couple of young pitchers on the mound, that being Reese Olson and Cody Bradford. Not a lot of data on them yet exactly. But Reese Olson in particular appears to be pitching pretty well. From a starting lineup standpoint, you do have Corey Seager is going to be sitting today, so Jankowski is going to be filling in, so that weakens their lineup a little bit. Texas has been on fire, just an amazing offensive machine right now. Reese Olson, it'll be interesting to see. His wins and his high fantasy scores have come against some not so great hitting teams, so it'll be interesting to see if he can hold up here. I am not really targeting either pitcher in this matchup. On to the Cleveland-Kansas City game. You've got Shane Bieber up against Zach Greinke. 9 is the over/under. This is an interesting one because Shane Bieber, highest pitcher on the slate, doesn't come in with the best record, 5-5, 3.69 ERA. He's been solid, but certainly not spectacular. His latest outings, he's had, 27 against Milwaukee and 22 against Arizona. He did throw a 58 in there against Houston. Boston, though, was a 20, Baltimore a 3. So, Shane Bieber, he's had a great career, certainly solid. But here's my take on Shane Bieber. He is about 20% higher than any other pitcher on this slate. And as a result, he's going to be my fade today. He's just not worth the upcharge. I think he's going to be solid, but I think you might get, somebody giving you similar amount of fantasy points and probably about $3,000 cheaper. So he is my fade pitcher for the early games. Zach Greinke on the other side, interesting story on Greinke. I've been really following him the last couple of years. Coach and Crash know that he is my go-to guy when he's playing at home. He's dramatically different as a home pitcher, although this year not quite as obvious. So he is going to be my GPP pitcher. I'm not going to go after him as a straight up value pitcher because there is some risk, but from a GPP standpoint, could be really sneaky. I don't think anybody's going to be interested in Zach Greinke, so it could be a really low own play. You've got, couple of lineups that are not some of the best lineups there in both the Royals and the Guardians. This is projected to be a 9-run game, but I don't see a ton of offense, to be honest, going on here. Perez has had 3 home runs against Bieber, so something to look out for. He 3 home runs and 20 at bats. He's not my home run call, might be my backup home run call, but neither of these teams have really been swinging the bats particularly well. Ramirez, in particular, has a long history against Greinke and has not performed very well against him overall. So, not going to go with the high-priced Ramirez today. Just to let you know, he is 3 of 16 with just 1 RBI, no home runs, batting under 200. You also have, Steve Kwan batting 100 against a Greinke, and Josh Naylor batting 200 against Greinke. So again, Greinke might be an interesting GPP option. All right, on to the 3:37 Eastern game, which is New York, Oakland. Again, a couple of young pitchers in Clark Schmidt and Hogan Harris. A couple of pretty weak offenses. New York's kind of coming back a little bit, but really not that great. And Oakland, who just got completely shut out, no hit, no walked last night. Perfect game for German, which was pretty interesting considering how he'd been pitching. But it just goes to show you how weak the Oakland offense is. So this is an 8-run total. Not surprising there, really. I actually like both these pitchers because of the weaker offenses. They're actually pretty decent pitchers. I am looking at Clark Schmidt as my, believe it or not, I don't know if you want to call him a pay-up pitcher. You're not really paying up for him, but he is going to be my go-to pitcher. And my value pitcher is on the other side with Hogan Harris. Again, both of them have been solid, and with the batting for each of those teams, as well as playing in Oakland, which is a pitcher-friendly ballpark, I am targeting both these pitchers today. Not necessarily targeting any hitters from either lineup for that very reason, and certainly not one of my stacks. However, in the 3:40 game, Tampa at Arizona, they're starting Yanni Chirinos as primary pitcher, and Brandon Pfaadt is the pitcher for Arizona. That in general, 8.37 ERA. He has not really been fooling anybody. You got a very dangerous Tampa lineup. I like their lineup, and I like the Arizona lineup on the other side of things because they've been really hot, particularly at home. It is a 10-run over/under, so highest of the afternoon. So I'd expect some hitting from these teams. And I've got, they're two of my 3 stacks on the Tampa side. Diaz, Lowe, and Arozarena and Paredes are kind of my favorite 1, 3, 4, 5. Playing around there a little bit. They are expensive though, particularly if you're going after Arizona as your other stack. But I like their potential there. I'm going to stay away from Franco. He's been I'm not really sure what's going on with him. They've been down on him, kind of reprimanded him a little bit. He hasn't been as consistent as he has been early on. So going to stay away from him today. On the Arizona side, a lot to like there. Perdomo is not going to be playing today, so they switch things up a little bit. I love building a stack around Carroll. He's just been on fire. Absolutely amazing. Longoria has played in the American League somewhat, and he's been playing really well in that DH position lately, fitting right in. So some sort of stack maybe with Longoria and Carroll is something that I'm also looking at. But again, fairly expensive for Carroll. I think he's the highest. He might be the highest priced guy on the slate this morning. Finally, to round things out, we've got the White Sox at the Angels, over under 9.5. A couple of mediocre pitchers in Lance Lynn and Patrick Sandoval. Lynn can have some fantastic games. I've had him before in my fantasy, etc., but he can also totally let you down. And I don't think this is going to be one of his better games today. Ohtani in particular, I mean, boy, this guy's like just doing it all. But he is, he is incredibly solid against Lynn. In fact, he's 8 for 18 against him, so almost batting 500. So the Angels are my other stack. Lefties are batting 350 against Lynn this season. I think they're just teeing off on him. And so I definitely want to build in some Angels into my lineup, particularly around the left-handed hitting Ohtani. The other guy that I want to include, I'm pretty excited about the Angels getting him. I think it's kind of a key piece to their run. They're really trying to win the division this year. They picked up Escobar and they picked up the Moose, Mike the Moose Moustakis. And sorry, Crash. I guess maybe you're bummed that he's no longer. I don't even know if he was. No, actually, I guess he wasn't even on the Brewers most recently. I think he was on the Reds, but before that, the Brewers. But not exactly a hit for average guy, but a good power hitter. He's due for a home run big time. And I am going to be calling him today for a home run call. He's hit 3 off of Lynn in 18 at bats, and I think he goes for number 4 today. All right, so before kind of summarizing everything, I'm going to head into the chat, see what's going on. JT has joined us. What's up, guys? How's it going? Happy to see you. Power, thanks for being here, man. Really appreciate you. And the boy from Cali, always love it when the boy from Cali's showing up. I know we don't get to see each other too much these days, right, with NBA over, but definitely enjoying these pop-ins for MLB. I'm also, one of the things I'm doing, actually, I don't know if you guys are into it, but Big Three basketball is going on this season. It's an 8-week season. You got some really great 3-on-3 basketball, a lot of ex-NBA players, total legends when it comes to coaching and things like that. It's a really fun experience. You should see if it's coming to a town near you, because it's a great time, and I could even hook you guys up with some tickets. So let me know. I'm actually helping the Ball Hogs out. I'm doing their marketing for them, and they're one of the 12 teams. And for those of you who don't know, the Big Three was started by Ice Cube, and it's a great way to spend the summer if you're missing the NBA. So check it out. The games are on CBS Saturdays and Sundays. It's a lot of fun. So anyway, that was my pitch. Derek Wilson, thanks for joining. Oh man, we got all the regulars in here today. Niles Simmons is there, and Pain Blanks. Yeah, how's it going? Good to have you here as well. Concerns about the air quality in Pittsburgh. Wow, that's crazy. I mean, the stuff that's been going on with the air quality, there have been so many games that have been missed because of that. I actually happened to be in New York and Philly the other week when it was really bad there, and it was brutal. Even in Chicago the past couple of days, it's like about 200 is the air quality index, and it's been bad. So Doug L does not like Drury. You got to tell me why you don't like Drury. I'm very interested, because I have been eyeing him. He fits into one of my lineups pretty nicely, and he has been hitting well. So tell me what's going on with Drury. I'd like to know. Okay. All right. Is Harris starting or Capillion? You know what? I thought it was Harris. I don't have any more information. Anybody know about that? I didn't think it was Capillion. Crash thinks it's Harris as well. So yeah, so let me know. Keep me posted. Okay, so let's summarize. I've got on a very weak pitching slate. I'm going to be fading Bieber, who is the pay-up option, but I don't think he's worth the upcharge. I'd rather get those big bats in there. So I'm going with Schmidt against the A's, and Hogan Harris is my quote value option. He's had good games. What's interesting about Hogan is that his best games have been at home, which is where he is, and he's had really good games against some real powerhouses in Tampa, Philly, and Houston. So I like him against the Yankees. So he's going to be in my lineups. And then Greinke, as I mentioned, is my GPP. My batter versus pitcher is none other than Mr. Ohtani, who's been phenomenal. 8 for 18 versus Lynn. Home run call, as I mentioned, is the Moose, who's had 3 already. And if you don't like the Moose, I do like Perez as a backup. as he's had 3 home runs against Bieber as well, and we know Salvador Perez is always good for a home run. For stacks, I like the Tampa, the Anaheim Angels. Unless there are any other questions, we are going to leave the early games and we're going to head on to the main slate. And by the way, like I said, the early games for FanDuel are only the Tampa, the New York, and the Chicago White Sox games. Okay, so only 3 games there, and all 5 for DraftKings. All right, so heading to the evening, skipping over that Miami-Boston game. First game up, we've got San Fran at Toronto, and you've got a young pitcher in Keaton Wynn starting for San Fran. Toronto's got the veteran Chris Bassett. It is projected to be 9-run over-under, so fairly moderate. And you pretty much have, I'm just trying to see lineup-wise, no surprises so far, although we don't have announcements officially on the lineup. So all good there. Not a lot's known about Keaton Wynn. He's hasn't really started. He's been makes sense to roster him basically because he's not going to go very long. I mean, he's been mostly in relief. In fact, I think he had a relief appearance. Well, maybe it was 5 days ago, so he is rested. But given that he's been more of a relief pitcher, I don't think they're going to be stretching him out. So, makes it tough to roster him. On the other side of things, with Chris Bassett, he has not been my favorite pitcher this year. He's been a little bit shaky, kind of on and off. San Fran does not have the best lineup, but he's just probably for his price, he's probably not someone that I'm going for. And in terms of the bats here, not really sure what to expect from Toronto given Keaton Wynn. Bassett, I do know Jock Peterson hits the heck out of Bassett. Lefties in particular hit him hard, and the Giants do have a lot of lefties in their lineup, so. Again, another reason why I'm not going after Bassett. Probably get a couple of one-off bats here, but nothing too major. The next game, 7:10, is my New York Mets against Crash's Milwaukee Brewers. The Brewers are showing up the Mets. The Mets really suck right now. They're in a tailspin. Oh, God, I'm really hating life. I mean, all that payroll and all that expectation, and they've been terrible. That being said, they've got Max Scherzer on the mound. And about 3 weeks ago, I kind of predicted that he was going to turn things around, and actually picked him up from my So Rare team at a real good discount, and he's been just on fire since then. And I think that's going to continue. I mean, I think he's figured out how to pitch a little faster. And if the Mets are going to do anything, then I'm just fingers crossed there. Crash is bringing up that Victor Caterini. Yeah, if he makes the lineup, I agree. He's been pretty smash against Scherzer, so it's a good punt catcher. Totally agree. Adrian Hauser's, kind of had a rough year. I think that he was in the bullpen for a while. He's back to starting again. I'm hoping the Mets can hit him pretty well. There's a little bit of a track record against them. Alonso's hit well. Nemo in particular has hit him well. There's probably a couple of bats there for the Mets that I like, particularly those two and Tommy Pham. Those are the guys who have hit Hauser the best. It's only 8.5 runs, so not forecasted to be the highest total tonight. Probably not going for anyone on Milwaukee because I do trust Scherzer. Scherzer is my pay-up pitcher. I got to do it. I know he's going to be incredibly chalky. But again, when you look at this slate and the pitching that's on it, there's just nobody that comes close to him. So I think you have to do it, and you just have to eat the chalk in this case. Right, eat the chalk, boy from Cali. That's what we got to do, right? So that's my plan there. His ERA is 3.95, but it's 2.95 at home. Brewers are one of the last in runs scored, and I think it's a good matchup for him. Okay, so on to the next game, Houston, St. Louis. Interesting matchup here. Adam Wainwright is uh, I've got the information here somewhere about Wainwright. Yeah, so basically he basically allows a 400%, or batting 400. Lefties are batting 400 against him, 398, which is pretty insane, and it's against a pretty good sample size. So what do? You stack as many Houston lefties as possible. What's the problem with that? There is only one lefty with Alvarez hurt. There's only one lefty in their entire lineup, so that's a bummer. But play the heck out of Kyle Tucker. That's all I'm going to say. So yeah, I don't know what's going to happen tonight because again, Wainwright's been downright awful, and in particular against lefties, but without a lot of lefties or even switch hitters in the Houston lineup. Not sure there. I do like the Astros tonight. I think because of some of these less expensive players, you can kind of fit them in. You want to go a Bregman, Tucker, Diaz, or Tucker, Diaz, Abreu. I like Abreu. He's a really good hitter. He has not had a great season at all. So he's kind of sneaky sometimes, pretty low owned. I've gotten lucky with him a couple of times. So that's of interest. JP France, good pitcher, good young pitcher. He's actually going to be my value pitcher tonight. There's so many pitchers I don't like at all and I don't trust. Now, St. Louis has a great lineup, and it's in St. Louis, but I think that France, who actually has been uh, much better away than he has been at home. So he's got a 3.54 ERA. It's actually 2.4 away. So I'm hoping that stays. I'm hoping that he continues to dominate on the road against St. Louis here tonight, and could be a sneaky little play as our value pitcher. As a result, if I'm going with him, I'm really not pegging any of the St. Louis players, particularly not any of the higher priced ones. Staying away from that. It is a 9.5 run spread, so that's the only thing. But I'm hoping all that offense or 9.5 runs predicted for the over under. Hoping all those runs come from the Houston side. All right, moving on to Philly at Chicago, 8:05 Eastern time. Uh, uh, Walker is on the mound for Philly, who's had a great season. Hendricks on the mound for Chicago, also having a good season. Two veteran pitchers. This is the highest run total of the evening at 10. So something's got to give. Someone is not going to be having a good pitching game, or both won't be having a good pitching game. I think that, I think Walker is playing kind of above his typical performance level. I think the Cubs have a sneaky chance to be a pretty low owned stack. Walker has an ERA of 5.76 on the road. So I am interested in Chicago as a sneaky little GPP stack with playing some combination of probably Horner, Suzuki, Happ, Swanson, Bellinger. Actually, Morel's pretty good too. So really in the middle of the lineup there, I think they're really fairly priced. Again, you have a big total predicted. The wind is blowing out in Chicago. I'm here right now. It's kind of doesn't seem to be blowing that hard, but it is forecast to be blowing out tonight. I think it's a good setup for some home runs on both sides of the ball. But I think Walker is going to be my fade pitcher. I think he'll be chalky because he has performed so well this season, and the Cubs have not been a great hitting team. So I think it's a nice contrarian play to fade him. On the other side, I like some of the Philly bats as well. They are going to be, are they one of my other stacks? Yeah, they are one of my other stacks. I am all over Schwarber. I think that Schwarber, he's used to this. He used to play for Chicago. He's used to this ballpark. He's a big home run hitter, good lefty righty matchup. he is my home run call tonight. He hasn't actually hit against Hendricks, not that I'm aware of. So no real data there per se. I just think he's due. He knows this ballpark. He's hit a lot of home runs at Wrigley, and he's my home run call. I also like Harper. I like the lefties in particular. I like Harper. I do like Castellanos as a righty. He's just been having a great season. Bryson Stott. Actually, Marsh has been hitting the ball pretty well, so I wouldn't mind some sort of a turn around the corner and, with Marsh and Schwarber in a stack. Marsh would be pretty inexpensive. So I do like Phillies as one of my key stacks. The Dodger Colorado game, this is the one that I worry about because of rain. The over-under is 12 runs, but there's over a 50% chance of rain. I'm playing this one pretty lightly at this point. I may even not play it at all, just because I don't know where it's going to be, and we're not going to know necessarily by the time the start of these other games. So you have two, Chase Anderson, not the best pitcher. Emmett Sheehan, not a lot of information on him. It's certainly a hittable game. I certainly wouldn't go for the pitchers here, but there are some bats that would make sense. You've got maybe it's contrarian, but I just don't want to. I'm concerned about going there and then not having anyone to swap out because of the late start. So I don't know. In the chat, tell me how you guys are playing it. What are you thinking of? Let's take a look here. I don't think there's any. Yeah, we got some comments, new comments. My computer seems to have froze. All right, there we go. All right, so back to the Milwaukee game. Yeah, Hauser sucks. He agrees, but Scherzer is his fade. Well, you like you like your Brewers, so I can see that, but can't fade Scherzer. No way, no way. And Batty is somebody also that Crash is saying would perform nicely against Hauser. And of course, okay, lefties hit 290 against Hausers and righties 218. There you go. So focus on the lefties. All right, Phillies are his top stack, so that's good. But Walker's his favorite pay-up pitcher. Well, hey, that's why you have a few of us doing this, because it's always interesting. Everyone's got everyone has a different take. So Walker's my fade. It's Crash's pay-up. I don't know. You guys get to decide. Anyway, let's see what else we got here. Doug's looking at a few Yankee stacks, so that'll be fun to see in the Discord what we end up with here. And anyway, so finishing up on the Dodgers game, because it doesn't look like anyone's got any thoughts on it. I don't know, Crash, if you do. Excuse me, but you do have, from a hitting standpoint, no one has hit Anderson particularly well on the Dodgers. There haven't been a lot of at-bats against him, though. But again, I'm just gonna stay away. Of course, if you want to play it, Freddie Freeman is always the way to go. Will Smith, Mookie Betts, those are, you can't go wrong there usually. And Crash likes Mookie and he likes Sheehan, so he likes the pitcher. Yeah, look, it's tough to love a pitcher in Coors. That's the only thing. But anyway, so there you have it, folks. To kind of summarize, my pay up is Scherzer. He's going to be chalky for sure, but I think eat the chalk in this case. My value pitcher being JP France. Again, he looks really solid in a very ugly pitching schedule. And he has a really nice ERA, full 1.5 lower than his overall ERA at home. Fading Walker, I think with the wind blowing out, he's going to have a little bit of trouble, and his ERA on the road is particularly high. My BVP is Tucker. Wainwright allowing that 398 versus lefties. I'm putting Tucker up there. He's a pretty reliable hitter. And my home run call is Schwarber. Lots of home runs today at Wrigley. My main stacks are the Astros versus Wainwright and the Phils versus Hendricks. My sneaky GPP stack is the Cubs versus Walker, and I like few of the guys on the Mets, Nemo, Alonso, and Pham, and I think Crash added Beatty in there, and I like Peterson and Crawford today as well on San Fran against Bassett. So that is it, guys. I hope you have a fabulous DFS day. We got these two different slates going on, which always makes for fun. I'll be posting early slates probably in about 20 minutes or so, and then we'll get the late slates out later this evening before main slates lock. And I wish you all a great day, and I'll see you next week. And Crash, we'll see you before that as we look to crush it in MLB DFS.